You just need
Yeah.
to be reassured.
And you were there.
Well, I'll tell you, twins could not be any closer. And I mean, what a blessing. And I don't know how to get that across anymore. But
We used to live in an apartment house, and right outside, we set up a little stand. We'd buy BB bats to sell to
or
people
penny.
coming by. But
cost
in the
a penny.
meantime, yeah, okay. Of course, we never made any money. I didn't remember that. But anyway, in the meantime, we'd take them in the house, open them up, pick off of them, and wrap them back up.
We
Take them
did?
back out. We did. But that didn't last too long. Our business floundered.
So what's the story of Rinkamadinka-Doo?
Well,
when you
we
both
just-
wanted to be Betty?
We
We both were
did.
Betty.
And we had this friend, think of his name,
Billy O'Bushel boy.
okay. Billy old Bush old boy.
Gilly.
Gilly.
Bishop.
Oh, okay, see, I've forgotten in all the years.
Was he English?
We don't know,
Or
we just made him
Australian.
up. But he was a good friend, and she was Betty and I was Betty.
But Gilly on Bishop Board was a real person, I think. I mean, this just came to me. We used to go on the market, as they called it, with
With
Granddaddy
Granddaddy.
chores. And I'm thinking, and this just now came into my head, there was somebody that, like, you know,
Down there?
maybe pushed an old cart or something, or I don't, maybe on the market. And we just, I think we probably were,
See, she's got
Copying.
this good memory.
that, I mean, that doesn't make any sense either.
Well, none of it does.
But,
Yeah, I remember used to going to the market with Granddaddy.
yeah, he rode the streetcar downtown, and I just, that was on Patterson Avenue, which was one block over where the streetcar tracks were. And that's the way everybody got
Got
around.
around.
I mean,
Nobody had a car.
no. And let's see, one time, I don't know if it was yours or mine, but we got a doll, probably, we always got the very same thing.
Yeah.
In fact, one,
Red
well,
pocketbook.
okay, I'm chasing rabbits. I started telling one thing, and
It's
then I'm
okay.
thinking about something else. I was gonna tell about the unbreakable doll. And I don't know if it was yours or mine. It's probably
I
mine.
thought
'cause
it was Mother's.
no, I think, well, I'm not clear.
She had one too.
Anyway, we were gonna try it out. If it didn't break, I take credit. I don't know if, I mean, you wouldn't have done that. Threw it down on the sidewalk and it crashed in a million pieces, and so it wasn't unbreakable. And then,
And then there was no doll.
no doll.
For
But then,
Christmas.
what I was gonna say, one Christmas, either you or I got a little doll carriage. Well,
I remember.
that didn't work.
Yeah.
They had to
Because
go
they
get
weren't
another.
alike.
Well, I didn't, it seemed, why would
And I
they?
think I wanted one like yours.
Well, that sounds better.
So the
than-
next day
Well-
after Christmas, it suddenly appeared another.
Well, I was thinking only one of us got one, that wouldn't. that
No,
wouldn't
I
have been
think they were two different ones. And I wanted that. I wanted everything she had,
Oh,
even red pocketbooks.
well, see, I forgot about that. But
Probably for your
It's
birthday,
good for-
you got a red
Riley, I
pocketbook.
think we don't put our feet on the table.
And I wanted
We
a
should.
red pocketbook just like hers.
Granddaddy Childers had some kind of special car, what was that?
A streakity blue,
I don't know who.
that's what we called it. It was a DeSoto, wasn't it? Or you don't
I'm
know?
not sure. Might have been
Yeah.
a Packard.
I think
Wasn't it
not. I
that?
think
It was
it was
a
Just
DeSoto.
like, don't play with it.
And
Get
we'd
that
see
trash.
that car coming, driving up, and we knew that was Mama and Granddaddy. And that was great.
And
They
would-
always brought us
I
something.
think they took us for a ride on Sundays maybe
Yeah.
in that car, cause we didn't have a car. And we, I mean, this doesn't really enter into it, but we moved all the time. I mean, I can't tell you how many different houses we lived in
In
Stanton.
Salem.
For, I mean,
We didn't live.
no.
I
we
never
didn't
lived in
stay.
Stanton.
We lived, the first house we lived in was on East Main Street. And then we moved to the Colonial Apartments, that's where the B.B. Batts
Batts,
story came
yeah.
from. And then, I think the next time we moved up on Broad Street, and then we moved down on College Avenue and about 3 different houses, places. And after that, we moved to the Union Street, then we moved to the Boulevard.
And then up there, the last place, Shallowbrook,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
where he came. Right?
That was,
And that's when I
was-
entered the picture, right?
Yeah.
Shallowbrook's the first place I ever
well,
knew.
I was a junior in high school, and Jean, she got really mad at Daddy about,
What
I
was
don't
it?
know, it had to do with moving, I guess, or going out there, which we thought was the country, because.
Well, it was. It's not now, but it was.
Yeah,
I don't remember getting upset.
yeah, you did. Because, well, I mean, you just figured that was his, Mother didn't always agree with it.
Well, and Mother couldn't drive either.
No.
She
couldn't,
learned to
yeah,
drive
yeah,
after
she did.
Daddy got sick.
Cause it's hot, Daddy don't have no
She didn't,
I mean, no.
she didn't always agree with it, and that's a fact.
Kinda like us, right?
I never-
Tell us about when David was born and how did that?
Well, we lived, well, should I
Germany.
mention about those maternity dresses that I
Yes.
didn't?
Yeah.
I just
'Cause I
remember, I
don't
can
even
see them,
remember.
I can see them in my head right now. One of them was a kind of a dark teal blue, it was 2-piece, like that's the only kind of maternity dresses they ever had. The other one was kind of a maroon color. But we moved from that one house across the street, across the side street there, into the big house on
Yeah.
College Avenue. And that's where David was born.
Right.
But no way did we have any idea that we were getting this brother. And of course, they didn't know either that it was a boy. Nobody in those days knew what they were having until they had it. And so then Grandma Turner came to stay with us. And I don't know, did we know about it until they came carrying him in, or did they tell us about it?
No, they told us
They
you've
told
got a brother. I remember that.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? All of a sudden, what'd you say when they came in and said, you have a brother?
Yeah.
I'm sure we were, yeah. Which, I don't want to bring any not so happy news in, but there was a case of their other brother that, rest his soul. He was a misfit. Is that a word to use, or
A misfit.
a misfit? I mean, even when he was real young, it just seemed like
You gonna come
people
watch the movie, Rod?
rejected him, or
Yeah.
just didn't,
Come turn it
like a
on.
normal child. And I don't know if was there something about him that I just don't know
It was
why
just
it was
not a
like
happy
that. And
time.
he ran away from home when he was 12. Do you remember that?
I remember him running away.
He ran away from home and he got on some kind of, must have been a Greyhound bus, and the bus driver knew and made him, somehow or another, the bus driver convinced him, no, you don't want to do this. And, well, obviously, a
Yeah.
12-year-old boy getting on a Greyhound was sort of a
Right.
dead giveaway. But I guess he just wasn't. I think I shouldn't. And I don't know if all this maybe is the way it was, but I think that he. I don't want to say he was jealous of us, but I think we got more attention than he did, and he just, felt slighted or I don't.
Well, I'm going back to when David was born. And I was in the 3rd grade. And every day I told the teacher I was sick and I needed to go home. And it was only after I got grown that I realized I must have been jealous of David being there with Mother. And I'm away at school. They let me come. I can't believe it now. They wouldn't let a child
Well, they
just
just-
come up and tell.
They just,
They're
well,
sick.
and they wouldn't say, okay, go ahead and leave and walk home by yourself, which must have been 20 blocks.
A long way. Yeah.
That's a sign of the times
Third
for
grade
sure.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only thing I can think, I didn't get sick. I was homesick. That's what it was.
Well, and, Mother was home in the summers, which we just relished
Yeah.
because she,
Having her
was gone to teach at school in the winter. And we just, well, I guess, she was home in the afternoons, but I don't, they're just
Well.
snatches of things that I, remember, but,
But we loved having our home.
oh yeah. And I don't feel like I had a bad childhood. I mean, I don't think of it like that at all. I mean, I think, we were doted on by our aunts and uncles because they did not have
None of
kids.
them had
They-
children,
None of them did. and
except later,
they, yeah,
Elsie and he
Yeah.
adopted.
yeah. That's another story I'll go into. When they lived, Elsie and he lived in North Carolina and they worked down there for, what's called those.
Marshall Field.
Marshall Field or something. And they were gone during the day. They lived in these big white building, which was an apartment now. And they left us in the bed asleep when they left to go to work. Well, Gene and I apparently, you remember this?
Yes.
Were they twin beds in that room? Anyway, Gene and I were in the same bed, and over in the other bed, the covers were rolled up like somebody would get out of the bed, but we thought it was somebody.
Somebody in the bed.
And somebody was mowing outside, and we thought
We
that
could-
was somebody breathing over
We
there,
could see
snoring
the
over
covers going up.
there. And we finally
Got courage to run.
flew out of there and went down to this Mrs. Martin that she was supposed to be listening out for us. I guess she wasn't too surprised,
I'm
but
doing too good of a job.
You see why we turned out the way we did.
I mean,
Yeah, and that was our vacation.
that was their vacation.
Families then didn't take vacation.
Well,
But we went to Elsie and Hughes, and they treated us really great. But we cried. We
Because we
called
were
home
homesick.
every day because we were homesick and wanted to come home. And they'd tell us, now we'll be there Saturday to get you. And we stayed and it was okay.
Well,
But it was kind of a sad vacation.
yeah.
So let's hear about the corn popper.
Okay, how old do you think we were about that time? We got this, I started to say electric, but it was sitting on the stove, so it was one
Probably.
electric corn pop, popcorn pop. Like,
8 and 10 or
you know, it's
10
no
and a-
better than popping it in a pan like we always did. But anyway, I said, we were fooling with it, and I said, I can't get this darn top on. Well, my daddy had a fit. I had to write 100 times. I must not say to
And Joanne never did anything wrong. That was so
must
unbelievable.
not say darn.
That she got in
100
trouble.
If I ever was going to forget to say darn.
You burned it into your mind.
And I mean, I guess, that was the worst bad word I ever
Yeah,
knew.
I know.
Oh, this is so
Must have
crazy,
been
but,
some corn popper.
you know, honestly, that, I can see that right now. It was kind of a orange and beige or something. I could just see that sitting on the stove. But, you know, the things maybe that were really important or you would like to remember more about, that's what it's hard to remember.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes it just seems like.
But
you remember
we
the
did
funny
have a
things,
good,
the silly things.
good home.
Well, you know what about Joanne's memories of when, you told memories of when your dad went off to war. Do you have memories of going
Oh,
to the
yeah.
train station?
I could see that in my head right now, as clear as anything, and that, who was, it was a teacher?
John Henry Snap
John's?
that taught senior English.
He was there for some reason, I don't know.
They're just turning the TV off. Go back to the beginning and tell the
Yeah, that's.
train story.
Well, what would be
He
the
was getting
beginning?
ready to leave to go.
Well,
to the
should I
army.
get into the fact and have it on record about John Lee Logan?
Tell us, Joanne.
See, I don't know much about
That's
Well,
fine.
his job, he worked for Peacock Salem Laundry and Dry Cleaners. That was his job. And that was, you know, the name of the place. And he didn't make much money. And he got a job, an opportunity to go to another laundry and dry cleaner in Narrows or out in Southwest Virginia. And this John Lee Logan, who was the owner of Peacock Salem, our daddy did everything for him.
Yeah.
And built up that business, just was his one man benefactor or whatever. And he did not like it one bit that he left. And so he just happened to be on the draft board. So our father, at 38 years old with 4 children, was drafted into the Army, sent to engineer training at Fort Belvoir, and it just broke his health. He was, I don't
Never the same.
no, well, he finally, and it didn't last long because it just broke his health, and he was medically discharged. And then, I don't think he never worked after that. And so that was tragic because he was,
See, you're telling
Hard
me something
worker.
I didn't know about Narrows, the job.
yeah, there's another place that there were like, what are some of those other was around there, is maybe two other.
Grundy, maybe.
Well, I don't remember Grundy so much, but anyway, it seems like it was maybe a couple of other little towns that, you know, and I'm sure that he didn't like being away from home, because he wouldn't have been driving back and forth every day. And you don't remember
Yeah,
him
we
being
would have
gone,
had to
maybe.
move.
Well, I don't think that was ever in her heart, but I think that the fact that he had to be gone from home and only get home on the weekends or something. I mean, it's a little vague. You know, maybe some of the details I might not be remembering. But, okay, this is a important part of that story. When he was at Fort Belvoir, they called our mother in the middle of the night and told her to come. That he had spinal meningitis and he may not live. You remember that?
Yeah.
So she went up there, and you know, I know Edna was a big help to her. I mean, because, and of course Johnny Libby lived there too, and I guess they all were helpful to her. Means I should be quiet.
No, it doesn't. You want some water?
Yeah, that's fine. The thing that I remember,
Could have carried over, yeah.
I do
Third
remember that Edna, you know, was a big help to Mother.
Well, I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but I thought you were going to tell the day he left to go
Well,
into service.
see, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
started out,
Yeah,
and then I got chasing a rabbit, and
because that was a horrible
well,
day.
I don't know if you can remember very clearly. I could see us standing there at that train right
I
now.
can too, crying.
That
Our hearts.
this John Henry Snap, what was his position of being there?
I guess he was head of the draft board. I don't know.
Well, anyway, he was a teacher, an English teacher at Andrew Lewis, where we went to school. And he wasn't sympathetic to us at all. He just, what was he said?
He said, "Go home. Now you can go home and cry in your pillow." I was
But
like,
not
"Thank you."
sympathetic.
Yeah, he
just
wasn't
sort of
sympathetic.
sarcastic.
I know John Henry's gone to his heavenly home, so he won't be hearing this.
hope
But he wasn't
Heavenly.
compassionate at all.
He was known for being, one thing they always talked about when he talked about, what English story is that he had a cane and he whacked on the desk and played it out, you know, all kind of,
Shakespeare, wasn't it?
Would be Shakespeare. I'm not sure which story you have in mind.
well, that,
But that was,
everybody knew that. I mean, that's what they said about it. Well,
Do you
What's
remember?
one-
I was gonna say like a Christmas memory or something. Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. One good memory.
No, one thing you want to tell all of your children or grandchildren, you know, about growing up in Salem, growing up.
Maddie drove through Salem.
I heard, and I told her that.
I told
was
her.
so excited.
Yeah, that was,
I mean, you were on 81, right?
yeah.
I don't even like to do that. Should have told her that. No, because Route 11 is so pleasant to
Yeah.
drive on. It's just suits me better. But anyway, that's wonderful that she can do that, and I'm sure she's very. How long has she had her?
She's just started.
That's very good. I'm proud of you, Maddie. I told her I would.
I am too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You said about growing up in Salem.
Yeah, just one more
I'll
thing.
say one thing and then Joanne
No,
has
you
got
go
a better
ahead.
minute.
If you'll-
But I was just gonna say, it was the wonderful town to grow up in. It was like hometown America.
Mayberry.
You could walk everywhere and people were nice and you knew everybody and they knew you.
Well, we would go to a movie on Saturday. I don't know why we were going on Saturday night, but we walked home at 11 o'clock, just you and me, in the dark. Nobody cared or worried
I
or
think they
anything.
cared, but it was so safe,
Well,
unlike today.
but they didn't care enough to come get to. But,
Well, I know they had a car. We were on our own.
well, they
Well,
couldn't walk
what
with.
would you tell your children, grandchildren?
Oh. Well, I don't have any, sad story. I mean,
I don't either.
and maybe,
It was a happy.
well, sad in the fact that, I will tell it, maybe, and I think lately I asked you about this, and I don't think you remembered it. Dead of winter, and Mother must have already had to be at school earlier than us, so Jean and I put on we wore these things called snowsuits. They were two-piece. They had leggings, which we hated, and it was really, really cold. And we started out, because I guess we had to finish getting dressed ourselves or something, or nobody sent us off. So we hated those leggings, so we put on our jackets and we got inside of school. I know we were a block away from school, went all the way back home to get our leggings because we were cold. We didn't have fun.
We did.
If we got out in the afternoon, it would have been warm. Now, whose idea was that?
See, I don't remember that.
I'm sure we agreed on
I
that.
thought you were going to tell about the dental truck.
Well, that was your fear, so
Yeah.
you tell about the
Well,
dinner.
no, I've already told it.
Oh, they know about it. Well,
I don't
Well,
remember that.
Well,
Say it again.
long time ago, when you were not able to afford dental care, they had this white truck that would come and you could get the children's teeth fixed.
but we
Well,
went to the dentist.
Yeah, we had a dentist, but that didn't stop me because I was scared to death. They were gonna put me on that truck. And Joanne kept saying, "Come on," because we turned the corner and there was that white truck. But anyway, she was, and always has been,
Well,
my comforter
I
and
just
encourager.
I just knew we didn't have to get in the dental because we went
Well,
to Dr.
I
Buds.
knew it,
Dr. Buds
but
was
not really. I knew it.
You just need
Yeah.
to be reassured.
And you were there.
Well, I'll tell you, twins could not be any closer, and I mean, what a blessing, and I don't know how to get that across anymore, but, no, twins, a lot of twins don't get along that well. I mean, I guess they all
Right.
have their times, but, yeah, we were like twins.
Yeah.
Well, we were very much like twins because Mother dressed us alike. I've got pictures in there on my bedroom wall of us in our twin dresses and
Easter outfits.
Easter outfits. Oh, that's another story. We had that one Easter, we had these little blue silk dresses and these hats. We had to wear these hats. I think we had gloves too.
Yeah. And purses.
Oh, yeah, we did.
But then we had saddle oxfords,
Yeah.
which are not too dressy.
Oh, you mean with the dress?
Yeah. In
Yeah, I
fact, that
think you're
picture
right.
you've got,
Does it show the satellite?
it probably
Well, we'll
does.
have to show it then.
What I was doing. I need to get hair and makeup in here.
Don't touch it,
Trish.
sweetie. It's all set to go, so don't touch it.
We
Let me
So
go
you see
back.
Grandma Joe in there? Pictures.
Well, you do it. Oh, that hurts, right.
I can